Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Flashy Toons. Today I'll be covering the top 7 scariest cartoon villains. Let's get into the video. Number 1, Skeletor, He-Man franchise. In Eternia, or on Earth, Skeletor was one of the scariest things on television for children. He was huge, ripped, lusted for nothing but more power, and his face was a skull. Originally just depicted as some evil demon from another dimension, as He-Man, Masters of the Universe, progressed, it was thought he might have even been the brother of He-Man's father. The species that Skeletor belonged to were the Gar, blue-skinned humanoids who were almost exclusively always villains. He was once known as Keldor, apparently a rather handsome blue-faced devil, until that face was melted off. He survived somehow, able to still be alive with his skull exposed, to creep out kids every Saturday morning with his diabolical laughter. Number 2, Scarecrow, Batman animated series. The Joker may have his moments of sheer cruelty, but then it comes to fear that there's only one villain who has turned it into an art form. Due to his mastery of chemistry, Dr. Crane managed to create an air-based toxin that causes hallucinations relating to the victim's deepest phobias. Something that's not even the Dark Knight is immune to. His weapon of choice may be more frightening than his initial look, at least until the new Batman Adventures, where he gets a makeover that elevates him from average villainy to something straight out of a nightmare. Number 3, Him, the Powerpuff Girls. While he certainly possesses flamboyant traits, the being known as Him never ceases to remind viewers that he is evil incarnate. He does this by demonstrating the seemingly limitless powers at his disposal, or just by that warped and unnerving voice. When you have a whole list of atrocities to your name, such as poisoning an entire town with hatred, or being responsible for creating an apocalyptic future with minimal effort, then you know you're dealing with a whole different breed of villain, and a damn scary one at that. Number 4, Venom Spider-Man. Thanks to Venom, we know what an alien-human hybrid looks like. Similar to H.R. Geiger's most famous creation, Venom possesses a huge teeth-filled maw with a lower jaw that he can unhinge like a snake. Add to this a Hulk-sized body and cover it with a peculiar black goo that can change its shape into spikes and tentacles. What you get is some good old-fashioned nightmare fuel. The character of Venom originated of an idea by a Spider-Man fan to give Peter Parker an improved costume with cooler colors. Marvel bought the idea, which was then developed by the comic book illustrator Mike Zeck. Spider-Man's new costume was introduced in comic books in 1984 as a sentient symbiotic creature that granted Peter Parker new powers, but also tried to impose its will upon him. By 1988, the alien symbiote bonded itself to a new bad guy, Eddie Brock, and called itself Venom. Number 5, Dr. Claw. Dr. Claw is an obvious candidate, but also a questionable one. In his eternal struggle with his nemesis Inspector Gadget, this disemboweled mummy hand's raspy, rage-filled voice is bound to strike terror into kids' hearts. However, like many of his peers, he's also reliant on a network of incompetent henchmen, and for all this power, the source of his rage is his inability to defeat an incompetent cyborg. More importantly, Claw doesn't realize who's really defending him. With the exception of the episode Mad Trap, Gadget never wins any fights or really thwarts or rescues anyone. It's Gadget's tween-age niece Penny and her dog Brain that actually stop Claw's international terrorist organization while he's distracted by the idiot in the trench coat. Number 6, The Boogeyman, The Real Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was a macabre franchise. Out of all the monsters the Ghostbusters ever faced in the animated series, it's the Boogeyman as the worst. The Busters' first encounter with this nightmarish beast was more disturbing than anything seen in live-action movies. I mean, the guy looks like the Joker with sharper teeth, hooves, and a larger head. He feeds off children's fear, and he was an old nemesis of Egon. Anyone who grew up in that era would never forget the scene when he emerges from a closet and stares at the Ghostbuster and recognizes him, and vice versa. Egon's confrontation with the supernatural creature was like revisiting a tormentor from your past who you thought was dead and buried but is now back for revenge. Number 7, Mumra, Thundercats. The ever-living source of evil on Third Earth, this undead sorcerer exists only to smite the heroic felines that threaten his rule, and of course to petrify all the 80s kids in his decaying state of being. Of course, that's not to say he's totally helpless. By calling on the power of his masters, Mumra can transform his body into a muscular yet equally fearful form. Whether it's as a decrepit overseer or as a vicious juggernaut, he remains a powerful enemy whose talents in deception and dark magic ensure that the Thundercats were never short of obstacles to overcome. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.